Maybe you can recognize the building behind us here. If so, you know that today we are in San Antonio, Texas, and we are here at the Alamo.
This is probably the most famous landmark in all of San Antonio, so we thought it would be a good spot to check out first. Let's go. The Alamo was built way back in 1718 by Spanish missionaries, but what it's most famous for today is the Battle of the Alamo in 1836, when 189 Texans lost their lives fighting for independence against 5,000 soldiers from the Mexican army, led by General Santa Anna.
If you aren't really familiar with the history here, we'd recommend starting your visit outside of the Alamo Chapel to learn more. We started off in the chapel, but it was a lot easier to make sense of it all after exploring some of the other exhibits.
There's also a really well done video inside the Long Barracks that explains the 300 years worth of history here.
Our kids' favorite parts were the interactive exhibits outside explaining how the soldiers lived and fought, as well as a cannon demonstration. If you come visit the Alamo with kids, there's also a Lego Alamo exhibit built with 50,000 blocks right across the street from the Alamo Chapel in the Crockett Building.
We knew the basics about what had happened here before we came to the site, but really learned a ton. So it's really well done, really informative. Right now you have to get reservations to go into the Alamo Chapel, which is free. But do that online before you come, and then you can pay extra to see some of the other exhibits and take a tour and things like that, which we did not do. So definitely come here because it's a staple of San Antonio. Now we're gonna head on to our next site.
The Pearl Complex began its life as a brewery back in 1883. After 118 years as a brewery, the property was purchased by a developer that turned it into a multi-use complex that hosts a park, shops, restaurants, and offices.
Pearl is just a really neat place to come hang out if you're visiting in San Antonio. Since we were here in December, we happened to come during their holiday night market. We started off with some drinks and hit up some of the food vendors.
We really don't feel any shame for starting off with dessert. We'd never heard of chimney cakes. Apparently they're popular in Romania and Hungary, and they're hard to pass up on when you're being offered free samples. They're made from a sweet dough, fried crispy on the outside and soft and flaky on the inside, and then topped with cinnamon sugar or all sorts of other good stuff. We also ended up with an Oreo one.
Next, we came across artisan empanadas for our main dish, and honestly, they were all good. After we ate our fill, we checked out the other vendors at the market.
Wow, that was really neat. It was kind of loud in there, so we didn't have a chance to talk to the camera very much, but it was very, very cool. Actually, I would say it was neater than I was expecting.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We spent a lot more time here than we originally thought that we were going to. We thought we'd get here a lot earlier, that we'd eat, look around a little, and then go. But we've spent like all evening here. There was music and amazing food and great vendors, and I bought my best friend a set of earrings for Christmas. I mean, if we had gotten here a little bit earlier, we could have spent even more time here. I think the Pearl Plaza area is just really pretty. There was so much going on. It was fun and festive. If this market or another market is going on when you're in town, come here. Our little one is now fussing, so it is time for us to go home. But tomorrow we have even more planned for our time here in San Antonio. See you then.
We are back in San Antonio today along the Riverwalk, which is a huge walking and biking path along the San Antonio River.
We are actually surprised just how long it is. I think it's like 15 miles worth or so. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it is way more than the little downtown portion that we thought constituted the Riverwalk. That is kind of the main area you think of. In fact, we checked it out the other day briefly and are going back today, but it continues even further. So now we are in what they call the Museum Reach portion of the Riverwalk. We are further north than the downtown area, but if we were to walk the other direction just a few minutes, we'd be at the Pearl where we were for that night market.
Right now, we are headed to a place called the Elsewhere Garden Bar and Kitchen for lunch.
And it looks amazing. It is right here on the Riverwalk, and it has been voted like the best patio in the San Antonio area, among other things like best date night, best food, all sorts of things that they've been known for, and we can't wait to check it out because it looks so fun.
We'd heard the fried chicken sandwiches here are fantastic. It's everything you want in fried chicken, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside. We'd also heard ahead of time that they're huge, so we ended up splitting one so we didn't have to take a nap afterwards.
The food was seriously good.
It was amazing, so much better than we expected. I could have eaten a sandwich like that all by myself, and I know Kevin could have also, except we have plans downtown the rest of the day, and we're probably gonna get some food on the Riverwalk, so we didn't want to fill up too much. Elsewhere is something else, for sure. Not just the food, the patio, the atmosphere, but all these fun little decorations, all these picture-perfect, Instagrammable spots. You should come here and check it out.
And now we're gonna check out something really cool on the Riverwalk just right down the road from here. The grotto is a portion of the Riverwalk designed to look like a cave. It's all made out of concrete and is complete with cave formations, waterfalls, and sculptures. This part of the Riverwalk is really peaceful, and unlike the downtown portion, you can actually find some solitude here. It's definitely worth checking out if you find yourself nearby.
That is a fun little feature here on the Riverwalk. Check that out if you're in this part of San Antonio and on this part of the river. Now let's head downtown. it to the downtown Riverwalk, and we are at one of the 3 areas where the Go Rio boat tours depart. As you can see, there's one taken off behind us. We're standing in line now waiting our turn, and then we will board. It's a 35-minute narrated cruise from what we understand that will loop around the downtown area here. We're really excited because we're going to learn a little bit about San Antonio. We're going to see more of the Riverwalk, all the buildings, and then we can decide where we want to walk after that. But first, time to get on the boat.
A boat tour through the Riverwalk is the perfect way to not only see the whole area, but we also really enjoyed learning more about the history of the downtown. The tour is also full of interesting bits about the buildings, hotels, and restaurants.
The boat tour was about 35 minutes. Learned all sorts of really interesting things about the history of the floods and all the different buildings down here and the construction of the Riverwalk itself. It's really neat. Would highly recommend taking that down here.
And then you don't have to walk the whole Riverwalk yourself, though I would suggest that too because it's just so pretty. But now we have an idea of where we want to head next because there's currently an artisan market going on that we saw from the boat. We want to go walk through that and check out some of the stands, maybe buy a couple of Christmas presents, and then we'll find some place to eat. And there are a couple of other things that happen here once it gets dark, so stick around for the end of our video.
This is part of traveling with a baby. Sometimes we just have to kind of stop and get her out and feed her, change a diaper. And of course, she doesn't just sit in the carrier forever, so sometimes we have to just take her out, let her be awake for a bit so she'll go back to sleep. Soon, we're gonna go get dinner. Well, after a little bit of a blunder and finding that there's a 2-hour plus wait at a couple of other restaurants, we managed to snag a reservation at the Republic of Texas. We're gonna get a nice outdoor table in about half an hour. Not too bad.
We weren't really set on any certain place that we wanted to eat, just that we hoped to be right on the river so we could see the boats go by. That is something that you really want to catch when you're here in San Antonio this time of year because the Riverwalk is full of Christmas lights everywhere, and it is so beautiful. You can take the boat tours at night and do a Christmas boat tour. You can just walk along, you go to the artisan markets. They have the luminaries up along the riverfront, and they have boats full of carolers. We have music and singing as well. So it's just really fun and really festive.
We've been totally blown away by San Antonio. This is fantastic. We could easily spend a lot more time here.
Let's get some dinner and enjoy the ambiance.
If we're being perfectly honest, the food here was a bit of a disappointment. It clearly wasn't fresh, but sitting right on the river was still really nice. We'd recommend you either come on a weekday if you can, or call ahead and make some dinner reservations. We have walked over to the San Fernando Cathedral, which is the oldest cathedral in the U.S.
And what we're here for is a visual light show projected on the facade of the cathedral. It is going to start here in about 10 minutes, and it depicts the historical discovery, settlement, and development of San Antonio, and apparently it's just stunning. The cathedral itself is stunning, and picture it with lights and music. So stay tuned with us as that finishes up our video for San Antonio, which we have absolutely loved. We have been over the moon, blown away by San Antonio. We have just absolutely loved our time here. Wish we could be here longer. I mean, we don't often say that in our travels. As much as we love travels and all the places we go, it doesn't often blow us away like this. And
yeah, this has been a good one.
So everybody who lives here, you guys are super lucky. We've really enjoyed it. Come here if you can, enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next adventure.